Hello and welcome back to the Cronecast at the Rising Moon. Hey guys, today I have a pick a card for you. What will happen when you see them next? The next time you see them, what's going to happen? This is a general reading. I can't guarantee that it will have a message for you. You'll have a moment with the cards to see which pile really stands out to you. That's the message you're most meant to receive. This is one of those readings where more than one pile may be appropriate. So if you feel called to watch more than one pile, then please do so. You'll have a moment, concentrate. I'll see you at the time of your reading. Welcome back. Hey, if you chose pile number one, this is your reading. We're going to put the number one over there so that people can easily fast forward to their reading, but there are always timestamps in the description box down below. The Tarot of the Divine, I believe is what this is called, is bringing you a predictive spread. I'm using an infinity spread. I almost always do. We're also going to get a Beach Time Soul. It's also been called the Island Time Wellness. It's also been called the Love. They've rebranded this thing so many times. But we're going to get one of these cards as well, potentially more than that. And I don't know the nature of the relationship that we're reading on. It could be a friendship, it could be a colleague, it could be a family member, it could be a loved one, it could be a partner, it could be an ex-partner. The nature of the relationship will be revealed over the course of the reading. Let's get going here. What have we got? What's going to happen the next time pile number one sees the person that they're asking about? What's going to happen the next time pile number one sees the person that they're asking about? Okay, guys, before I get started, please don't forget to do things like subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. It helps my channel. It allows me to keep doing these type of readings. I have a podcast, Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica, and I have a Patreon where you can get spiritual guidance Monday through Friday. It's linked in the description box down below. All right, so I have the Nine of Cups in reverse, which is a disappointment energy on this one. It doesn't always feel that way. Sometimes it's very much like a kind of a delayed wish fulfillment, but like there was a disappointing outcome on this particular relationship. The World, which can be the start of something new, but can also be the end of other things. It's been a while. Eight of Cups in reverse. Looks like you are going to see them again because the Eight of Cups in reverse is often someone returning to your life. It looks like they'll be traveling to your area. We have the Moon in reverse, which is things becoming very clear. I'm not sure if we're going to get the world's clearest answer on this one. Remember, not everything is fateful. So what will happen is like going to be dependent a little bit on you. They're going to make a couple of things clear to you. Listen, this was not fun. Like whatever happened here, it was not, I'm not going to call it heartbreaking because I don't know that it really was, but it was a disappointing outcome. And like, you had to start over. You had to start over on particularly like maybe a dream that you were holding in your heart. That comes up with the Four of Swords in the upright, which is everything on pause. Judgment in the upright, that's yet another karmic cycle and things being brought to light. I have the Two of Wands in the upright, so that's a travel planning card as well. And then I have the Tower in reverse, which is a ground zero, a starting over energy. Let's get our two clarifiers, but let's read into the situation just a little bit further. You will see them again. I don't particularly have a time frame on this. It will differ from person to person, but for some of you, it's kind of close in. For some of you, it's a lot closer in than it is for others. For some of you, you're looking at a scenario of about 14 months. For some of you, you're looking at a scenario where, like, you know, it's imminent. It's imminent. This is a fairly tough energy in the past with the underlying issues. Something in this relationship, in this could be friendship, could be relationship, it's not a work environment, was very disheartening and very disillusioning. And there's been a period of like nothing happening, like maybe like a, you know, a holiday text here and there type of thing. The person is coming towards you and they will let you know before they arrive. They're not positive you're going to want to see them. They're not positive you're going to want to see them. So there's some kind of, I don't want to say bad blood here, but there is this kind of, there was something left unresolved in this. And like there's a new beginning energy with that Tower in reverse, but let's take a look at our outcome cards. I have the Temperance card in reverse with the Ace of Swords in the upright. There's been a lot of healing on both sides. It was needed is the thing. It was needed. Let's get one of the beach time. Can you tell me anything about the nature of this particular relationship? Because it didn't turn out that well the first time. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Mostly they just kind of want to clear the air. They want to clear the air on something. It's almost like they want to justify something that they did. Sunglasses, watching, looking, stalking, gaslighting, perception, and focusing out. So listen, the sunglasses energy with the watching, looking, and stalking, I have no creepy cards. I have no creepy cards here. I do get the sense that they keep an eye on you. But in the age of social media, that's not disturbing to me. Like that, it's way too easy to do. Like, you know, honest to goodness, it's like they've been biding their time on something. Hand of cards, take a chance, risk, being strategic, options, not showing hand, and gambling. All right, so this is a planner's card. They are planning travel. They're coming towards you. I'm not positive how you feel about this person at this particular point. There may have been a time where like you felt kind of strongly about them. Where like, here's what I've got. They felt like you had expectations of them that they would never be able to meet. That you were not seeing them very clearly. That they didn't know how to be the person that you wanted them to be. And that you were asking them to choose you over other things that were important to them. And here's the thing, I think by now you've kind of like, you've weighed that part out. Because this energy for you is kind of like, you started over. I don't know how hard it was to bounce from it, but like you did. There is a lot of healing. The person wants to talk to you specifically about that part. Is that like, from their perspective, like, I'm not saying you weren't well or they weren't well, because it can go either way in this type of relationship. But they felt like the situation was not healthy at that particular time. And like, I'm going to be really honest. You'll know this is the reading for you. This is the message for you. If you can kind of acknowledge it's like, yeah, I wasn't actually in the best place. I needed to do some healing. And that ultimately, whatever this connection was or wasn't, it provided that opportunity for me. That it caused a lot of like, this is a looking within, this is an introspection card as well, because it's a soul searching card, it's the life's purpose card as well. It is also like, this is the card of the Archangel Gabriel. That is what I'm actually a conduit for, and the Archangel Gabriel brings epiphanies and truth. Like the truth of the matter on this one was like, I almost want to say this person was a placeholder in your life. And that you're aware of it, like you're aware of it now. Whatever hopes you had on this particular situation, like you seem to have moved on. This is not something where like, this is not a no contact situation where there was like, you know, this incredible brain melting chemistry type of thing and you got together. This is a situation where there's disappointment at what didn't happen with it. And the person over the course of time just kind of revealed themselves to be somebody that I almost want to say you lost a lot of respect for them. A difficult path is revealed with Lotus within you awakens, you are master of light on high. Ask for help and learn that we are all connected is what the difficult path energy is about. This is the soul helper energy. This is one of the travel cards. It's almost synonymous with the Knight of Swords, which is very much about air travel. So this person will be in contact with you when they travel to the area that you're in. We'll get a bird messenger card because of that. What's going to happen is like, I feel like they kind of almost want to plead their case. To be like, hey, I didn't mean to do you dirty. I didn't mean to let you down. But I couldn't be who you thought I was, and I wasn't who you thought I was. Like it seems to me that in a healing journey, because we've got healing journey energies over here in a difficult path, which is often a healing path, that you had some healing to do around your ability to, like, you know, treat yourself as being worthy. And that this person is like a little bit of, there's something about that there. Where like they weren't, you know, the gaslighting, looking out, perception type of thing is your perception of them. I just kind of don't think was, I think you recognize this. They really weren't who you were hoping they were. And like the thing is, it's like they are a decent enough person. They really are. But where you're standing right now, like there's a lot of clarity. That's that moon in reverse energy. There's a lot of clarity about like you, the role the universe played in putting something in your path so that you wouldn't take a wrong turn type of energy. And our guides will do that to us. Sometimes they will misdirect us because it's almost like they will give us something that will not be damaging to us to help us heal, to help us avoid a pitfall. They'll try and guide our choices that way. But it's always because they see the bigger picture. And please don't forget that part. If you've ever felt like you were misled by your guides, it's like they were trying to guide you towards healing. And like, and they brought you messages about healing while trying to keep you focused on something that wasn't going to be for you, to try and allow you to fully heal. All right, we have the Raven. Listen to your intuition to receive a message from the world of spirit or a friend. You will hear from them. You will hear from them. Owl. Ooh, barn owl. Love approaches unexpectedly. And we want one more on this one. With Honey Guide. Benefit from the harvest of knowledge and sustenance that cooperation brings. So the advice in the cards here is like, yeah, go ahead and meet with them. Here's how you're going to be able to like really, there's an ambivalence. There is an ambivalence from you around like, do I want to? Like, is there anything left to be said? Do I care about like why they turned out to be? Why they turned out to be, I almost want to say a false vision. A false vision. I don't mind any of these cards. I don't mind the vibe off of any of these cards. The heavy sigh. What's the heavy sigh about? I'm going to be really honest. This person is interested in seeing you for what I feel like are like reasons of self-justification. Where like they don't want something on their conscience, and so they want to be able to see you. And do they care about you? Yeah, they care about you. Yeah, they care about you. Are you somebody that is like has importance in their life? You are, but like they couldn't be who you needed them to be. They couldn't be that person. They had to make another choice. And I'm gonna get messages of love on this because like it's very ambiguous around here and now. Your true love is already part of your life. I never read these. I'm a keyword reader. Here and now, which is a present energy. And it's kind of like the feeling that I get on this is that like, yeah. Here's what I've got on this. This was somebody who you looked at them and you saw who they could be. Not who they were, but who they could be, which would require them to change who they were, which means that the person you were investing in kind of didn't exist at that particular time. And that's not in a shaming fashion that that's being said or being pointed out. It's just the judgment card is like when we can see things clearly. And I really think you already know this part. That you're like, yeah, time and distance. It's not that I'm like kicking myself. What was I overthinking? What did I ever see in that person? But like you can see the part that was played. There's some clarity on this. There's some clarity on this. They have made a bunch of changes in their life, and they do want to talk to you. They do want to talk to you. But like I said, it's a little bit so that they can unburden their own conscience. I'm not positive what they're hoping for out of this. Other than to, like, I almost want to say plead their case a little bit. But we've got a benefit from the harvest of knowledge and sustenance that cooperation brings. My cards are saying, and never let a tarot card reader make your decisions for you, but my cards are saying that, like, go for it. Like, meet with this person. I think it might provide you with closure. If there's a part of you that's like, I do not want to open that door again. I had the locks changed. I had the door frame rebuilt around it. Heck, I had a steel reinforced door put in place of what was there, specifically so that I did not let the wrong person in again. And is this person the wrong person? Here's the thing. Other than disappointment, I don't have them having done a great deal. Like, I don't have them having sinned greatly against you or themselves. And like, sin's such a loaded term. What I mean is, like, they didn't ever set out to hurt you, even if the result was. And like I said, they're a decent enough person. They really are. I'm not sure what their feelings are around all of this, is the only thing. They seem to be, whatever it is they're hoping for, mostly it's that they want to set down a burden and walk away from it. Not that you're a burden. It's not that. Their conscience troubles them when it comes to you. Opportunity, yeah, within the next few weeks. Success. So my cards are all like, you know, I told you, like I told some people here, I've got another scenario on this that feels a lot longer, that feels like it's like, oh, it's, you know, over a year away. But on this particular one, I have like something coming up. And is the person, like, is it worth your time? I kind of think so. Just because, honest to goodness, it's like it will help you to understand you're not vulnerable any longer when it comes to this particular energy. And I think you kind of were for a while. I really do think you were kind of were. I would, like, you know, the cards are a little bit like, hey, start over again. There'll be clarity around this. There is this energy of, you've learned to accept that whatever happened for a good reason. That this is not, like, I'm going to be really honest. I do not believe that this is a former romantic relationship. It may have been something you hoped would be romantic, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. There's an admiration towards you here that is an interesting thing to me, because like they have a lot of admiration for you, and they do not like walking around knowing that they fully lost your respect. And that's why I keep going back to the whole, it's like they want to unburden themselves. It's almost a little bit like they want to plead their case. 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I'm not sure that they're like, I'm not sure you're open to it. I'm not sure that it's what they're seeking. That like they don't necessarily seem to be trying to revive the relationship as much as like put a period on the end of the sentence and see what is next to be written. It's the easiest way I can do that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have such a resolved energy for you is the only thing. We're going to check the Endurer fortune cards too. The Moon, you will be guided through darkness. The Gate, a barrier keeps you from your goal. The Queen, love and prosperity. And then the Golem, a close friend acts on your behalf. So the Gate, it's the weirdest thing, but I swear to God, it feels like an airport gate. This is like the security gate. It's like, yeah, they're coming into town. They're coming into town. Are they normally there? No, I do not believe so. It's an interesting one because it's a little bit like they kind of want to tell you like they like and admire you. And they also, like I said, there's just this weird thing where it almost feels like they want to unburden their conscience because at the very heart of it, they know they didn't make a good choice. Like they made a choice and like it was the one that they felt like was the only thing available to them. But they also completely get that it kind of made them, I almost like it like it almost made them like morally reprehensible in their own eyes. Yet they didn't feel like they had any other choice. All right, let's keep going here. What else have we got here? 1 and 2 and 3. Shishu, which is allow. You're being asked to allow this. You're being asked to open your energy field and take down your walls of protection in order to allow goodness into your life. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we block ourselves from the flow of life. It's safe to open yourself back up. So, hey, listen, if there is a really difficult past where you're like, I don't want to make that wound bleed again. I'm not going to poke at it. I'm not going to hurt myself. I don't do things that hurt myself any longer. I don't think that, I think if you look within your heart, you know you're not. You know that you projected an image onto them and that you were guided towards it, but like you're further long enough on this path to understand that the image was given to you to protect you, not to harm you. And all of these cards that really, they talk a lot about what's in it for this other person. And it's like, well, kind of what's in it for you? What's in it for you? And I have to just call your attention back to this. Opportunity within the next few weeks, success. It's almost as if this person would like a chance to remedy your opinion of them by aiding acts of service in another area. Acts of service in another area. And how would that play out? It's going to be different for different people. This is why I just don't feel this one. I don't think you love this person. From these cards, I need you to really pay attention to the lack of resonant emotional cups here. There's ones about clarity. There's ones about choices. There's ones about resting, recuperating, healing, starting over again. But the only cups that I have depicted here are the 8 of Cups, which in the upright is going on a spiritual journey or looking for more, trying to find fulfillment. In reverse like that, it is a returning energy. For me, every reader has a different relationship to their cards. You may have already fully moved on from this person and from this connection. That your primary emotion towards this person at this particular time is just you find them just a little bit disappointing to contemplate. And there's a part of you that is yeah, if I heard from them, I'm not even sure what I want. But multiple cards in this reading are well, hear them out. Because even if the relationship would never be what you had once hoped it would be, it can be something that is beneficial to you. You got the benefit from cooperation. There's something in it for you. And it's going to be different for different people. Now, for anybody, is it going to be hey, the spark is reignited and we take off and I swear to you, if this is your reading, if what you recognize is I don't think so. I have been disabused in the notion that person could ever be for me. And I'm going to tell you very specifically why. They did something that to you seemed so weak. They made a choice that was the choice of somebody with a weak character. And you have a really, really strong character. And so that's actually what it finally came down to in starting to move past this, was knowing this, whoever you are, you're not strong enough for me. I would never get that conflicted. Because they supported something that they understand is, like I said, is reprehensible. And how reprehensible? On the scale of 1 to 10, it's a 1. It's yes, that's bad. Is it somebody should go to jail bad? It doesn't involve assaulting people or children or anything. It's just that they supported somebody who's a little sinister, is what it seems like. And your paths diverged. So what will happen when you see them again is apparently they're going to try to justify what happened in the first place because your opinion does mean something to them. They find you a really admirable person and they know they did not behave admirably. But you don't owe them a thing. So we're asking kind of well, what's in it for you? And apparently that they do want to try and help you somehow. I have zero indication that this is meant to be in any way romantic. And just to check, and we'll leave it on this one, do you want to tell me anything about the nature of this relationship or the outcome? Is there anything we're allowed to know here? I'm just going to take one. What have we got on this particular relationship? 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. You. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. All right, so I said I was going to take one that I was like, what are we talking about there? Your romantic feelings. Your feelings are real and worth exploring. I do not get the sense that this is a romantic connection, but that there is somebody for you if you're not with somebody right now. I know I keep saying a lot. Here is why. What I keep slamming into is that you did a 180 on who you thought they were because of what they did. That like the person you thought they were and the person they revealed themselves to be had not even met. That like they were just a completely different person than you thought they were. And so I almost want to say maybe even a little icked out by them. They give you the ick. That is not actually who they are. They know they did something wrong, but they kind of can't undo it. And they do admire you, and they think you're a big enough person to be like, okay, well, we all make mistakes, and kind of, like I said, let their own conscience rest easy a little bit, but they're coming towards you with something. It's not just about, I want to make myself feel better. Like, they're self-aware enough to be like, that would be an even crappier thing to do. It's just the weirdest thing. I get the feeling you don't like them anymore on any level. And that, like, if you get a message from them, you'd be like, well, why would I? Because it will shine a light on something. That's that Judgment card. And make you feel better about everything that happened. And it will make you understand that you were always being protected from this person who just kind of, they weren't the right person for you because you saw them as you hoped they would be rather than they were. Okay? So that is not in any way an insult. And again, none of this should be hurting you. Because like the cards, the feelings on those cards where you're like, I'm not even sure I want to. And that's going to be entirely up to each person. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. It's the only way to book me. If you want to listen to my podcast, Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica, it has a lot of hints on healing and different healing modalities and spirituality. And if you want to hit the thumbs up button to help support this channel or subscribe, that's great. And then also I have a Patreon. And it's $5 a month. And you get Monday through Friday daily guidance on your own spiritual path. And I hope you're able to check it out. Take care. Be well. Welcome back. Hey, if you chose pile number 2, this is your reading. We're putting the number 2 over there so that people can easily fast forward to their reading, but there are always timestamps in the description box down below. Hey, this thing has been rebranded like 3 different times. It's the Beach Time Soul in this incarnation, but you can also find it as the Island Wellness cards. I think it's also been called the Love Oracle at one point. But it's one of the relationship decks. And we're asking, what is going to happen when you see them again? I don't know who you're asking about, and the nature of the relationship will kind of reveal itself as we go along here. What's going to happen when pile number 2 next sees the person that they're asking about? Alrighty. 5 of Cups in reverse, 6 of Swords in the upright. Interesting. It can be a vacation energy. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That could be a ghost energy too, actually. Give me just a second here. Hey guys, before I get started too deeply, please don't forget if you want to book me for a private reading, you can do so exclusively through attherisingmoon.com. It's linked in the description box down below. Please don't forget to do things like subscribe and hit the thumbs up button because it helps my channel and it makes it possible for me to keep doing these readings. I have a podcast called Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica. And I have the, whenever the cards go down and I start looking at them, I just kind of get lost in this. All right. So the plans of, this is an interesting one because, like, it's fine. It's a good energy. It's a fair and a balanced and a just energy on this. Like this is an enduring relationship. It may have had its highs and lows, but if there are not plans in place to see each other soon, this is leaving a difficult situation behind. This is an improving relationship. This is an improving relationship. It's like peace is made on this particular one. With the World in the upright, yeah, a difficult time in this particular connection is like done. Whatever like the barriers were, whatever the points of contention, whatever like might have been causing the difficulty, I like where it is. It's in this very peaceful, this is a rescue type of energy. With the Nine of Pentacles in the upright, which is independence and strength and privilege, it's also like it's one of the cards of like being seen as powerful. And then Ten of Wands in reverse, which is releasing, and then the Strength card in reverse. I like this energy. This person like actually has pretty deep feelings for you. There's a lot, they haven't been very fair to you at different points, but like they had all their own stuff, and they're very aware that they have all their own stuff. They work with it, They know that like being independent is one of the things that like would help them as well. So they keep in their own lane quite a bit. But like there's real love on this particular one in a way that I really like. Let's get your beach time soul. So like there's going to be plans in place, I want to say soon, although like time being a fluid structure and all of that, they may already be in place, but like I would put this within a 6-month period for literally everybody watching. What have we got? Yeah. Healing heart. Healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationships or addiction. I really feel that. I feel like if there was toxicity in this relationship, it wasn't all of the relationship. Like there's real love at the heart of it, but that like maybe everybody involved had to kind of face the truth. And that's the Divine Timing card as well. This could be a romantic relationship. It could also simply be somebody that has very enduring love for you. So longtime friend. I don't really necessarily get the sense that it's a family member, but it's not out of the question. It is not, like it's been there for long enough that if there was ever passion in it, it has turned into like an enduring love. Like there are ups and downs within this. There's been a lot of rough seas. Heart with a key. Welcoming love, meeting the one, open your heart, getting together and perfect. I do not necessarily think this is like the smoke and romantic connection, but that like, I think this person at one point was very entrenched in their own view and they didn't ever really consider your viewpoint. Something happened within their own life that caused them to see you as a person. This is an individuality card. And they understood that like maybe they weren't being very fair to you. That they were really defining you by who you were to them rather than seeing you as a separate person, which is that healing from heartbreak and toxic addictions. Here's the thing, there is a long enough history with this particular person that there's been ups and downs. And there's been like disappointments and things not happening. Like this is harmony returning after wrenching loss is one of the meanings of the Five of Cups in reverse. And loss, was it of the relationship or what you thought the relationship was? Maybe. But this person has a really open heart space for you. And they're very like, they have an awareness of like the ways in which they didn't treat you properly. That like they really, I'm not going to say there's shame around this, there isn't, but they're far more interested in being fair to you in a way that they weren't when you were much closer at one point. King of Swords in the upright with the Star in reverse. Again, that's that something just being out of reach sometimes. But it's also the card of like a new and hopeful cycle beginning. I like this energy kind of a lot. This relationship is likely to endure. And because the love at the heart of it is like, even if there has been difficulty, this is a real and enduring form of love. This wasn't like, this wasn't something where you saw them as you wish them to be. You know this person like inside and out. They may not know you as well as you know them, because you may be a little bit more prone to introspection than this person previously was. But honest to goodness, it's like somebody pointed out to them, like, you're not being fair. You're not being fair at all. And they had to kind of confront, it's like, does that person have a point? So you will see them again, and there's a slight awkwardness around all of this that, like, just give it time, because this person is, I almost want to say they're a permanent fixture in your life. They're a permanent fixture. Like, you will have ups and downs sometimes, but, like, there's never any question that it's going to end with nobody being around. Like, even if there's been periods of silence, I kind of get the drift of the feeling that there has. And this could be an air sign energy, by the way. This could actually be a literal Libra, because I have the Justice card and then I have the King of Swords. And I'm not much of an astrological reader, but when there's an echo like that, it's interesting. This person, they know that they didn't show enough appreciation of you. Like, they really have had to step outside of themselves more. They have all their own stuff. Whenever I'm doing these readings, that's one of the things that comes through. It's like everybody has all their own stuff. And they've had all their own struggles, but they've let go of a lot of... Here's what I think. I think they used to blame you for something, and now they're like, hey, life just sort of happens, and, like, I've done my own stuff. Awaken the magic of your creativity, and then I want one more on this time of guilt and shame ends now. They have a real connection, feel the power and blood of your ancestors. You are not alone. This person genuinely, like, they, honest to goodness, this might be some form of family member. But there is an enduring love. And the time of guilt and shame ends now. Like, if there's been a lot of resolution. There's a resolved energy around this. There's a healing energy. There's, like, things only get better from here. If it's been a difficult path with this person, know that they're a little bit aware of that part. And, like, do they sit around and kick themselves? Not precisely, but, like, they want to be a different type of person. They want to be a different type of person. I kind of like them as a human being now, but I think they went through a difficult stage in their life in which, like, they didn't like themselves very much, and so they were kind of a little bit difficult to like at times. I get a little bit of a feeling, because the Five of Cups in the upright, and I rarely see it this way, and I know it's in reverse there, but you don't get a card in reverse usually unless it's been in the upright at a different point. The Five of Cups in the upright is one of the cards that, it's in the meaning in the Rider-Waite, is crying over spilt milk. Meaning kind of like you're focusing on the wrong stuff. And it can be like grieving and mourning and longing and craving and all sorts of things. But that's one of the primary meanings, is like make much ado about not much. Like everything needs to be water underneath the bridge. And this is water underneath the bridge. And this person has kind of learned that they're the only person that can change their view. They've learned more about themselves. They have to understand an emotional response that they have. And, like, that nobody else is ever going to be responsible for that except them. So they've, like, I almost want to say they've grown up quite a bit over the course of the time that you've known them. And is it because of you? Yeah, partially because who they once viewed you as being, like, you've just proven that you're a different type of person. That you're, like, you don't need them. You don't need them. And not in a, like, screw you, but rather in the, like, whatever they thought might have been coming from, like this is unfair to me, they understood that the entirety of the relationship was really about them. The Green Man, the forces of nature favor you. This looks very good. Earth, utilize reason and common sense. Yeah, nature favoring you. With the wolf, beware who you trust. And then the stars, a long journey brings reward. Now, I'm going to read the beware who you trust more about reestablishing trust, because I have that justice in the upright. As time went on for them, and honest to goodness, it really was the kind of, like, you were able to step far back from them. You were able to step very far back from them, which is something I don't think that they really thought could happen. This freedom from toxic relationships. This really might have had codependency at the heart of it. Remember, that can exist in friendships. It can exist in families. There is love here. And like I said, if it was ever a romance, it has not been. And I kind of don't get the sense that it is. But this person is going to see you again. And they're really very interested in rebuilding. They're just interested in kind of going on and not defining everything from the past. They appreciate your willingness to view it that way because they do find you to be a very fair person. They do find you to be a very fair person. Hey, listen, there's something else here that I just kind of want to... That strength card in reverse where there's a vulnerability there. Like there's some kind of stuff that you could hold over their head and you just kind of don't. And that was something that they kind of had to confront too, is that like they never let you off the hook for anything and you let them off the hook for almost everything. And that was part of what, when like somebody really did point out to him, it's like, you're not treating that person right. And they really did have to confront that. It's like, wow, they never asked me for anything. And they always forgive me. So I don't know. I think they really had to examine this. Like, I'm truly loved by this person, even if they've had all their own stuff. All right, what do we got here? We have Positano, flourish through maintaining tradition. Ostrich, magic remains even while you ground yourself and be practical. We're going to take one more on this. Macaw, think laterally to solve a problem. This is an enduring relationship. If there has been distance, if there has been times where you did not speak, that is like for the rest of like your time on this earth, you will still be in contact with one another. This has a never been exactly without this person energy on this. And the only advice that's really in these cards that I think is kind of important to focus on is like, hey, if you ever had to change, if you ever had to grow, if you ever had to become a different version of yourself, because I think your ability to trust this person has been badly damaged. Please remember that everybody has work to do and to think laterally and let them heal too. If you've changed a lot, like, so can they. So can they. You're the only person that they think really understands them. Like, you're the person that they can be kind of authentic with in a way that makes them breathe easier. And by the way, they understand that they used to ask you to solve their problems way too much. Like, they've been very cognizant of not doing that any longer. Like, they're trying to live in a healthier energy. That doesn't mean that you're not a part of their life for them, though. We have fork in the road. That's crossroads energy with happy. Tick-tock, yep, that's a timing energy with new life. This is a really nice energy around this because sometimes there's not a ton to say. What will happen is that, like, you have a very similar sense of humor. So when you get back together, like, it's only a matter of time. Tick-tock. Before, like, you figure out how to travel this road together, how to be the versions of yourself that, like, put the past behind you. Honest to goodness, I kind of feel like that's the key here. That the key on this, the heart with a key, and the healing heart, is to just allow this energy. That's putting the past behind you. That's putting the past behind you. That's being fair and balanced. That's like things coming into reality and like facing reality sometimes. The Seven of Cups in reverse, and this is like one of the reasons that I never read oracle cards in reverse. I have never found them to kind of retain their meaning. But I always read tarot in reverse, and it's because the Seven of Cups in reverse to me is something being very 3D. Being very real. It is facing a reality. And there are so many cards here where it's like the past is behind you. Everybody involved has a fairer outlook than they once did. This person is vulnerable, but they're willing to let go of things as well. They weren't in the past, and like they kind of had to face that, like, they were trying to make you responsible for too many things in their life. It's I'm going to be super honest. It's like they had somebody who they just told them to grow up. Like just flat out told them to grow up, and that they were the person who wasn't being fair. And it shocked them. It shocked this particular person. It was really surprising for them, because it just was not something that they had been ever encouraged to do, was to view you as somebody who'd just hung on and hung on and hung on for them. Like I said, I think they almost had to face that it's like, maybe I'm a little whiny sometimes, that I get into a victim space. And it may have been something that you said as well. It may have been something that you said as well. Because they had to re-examine a lot of things. Because this is they really did have to examine things. With that star in reverse, sometimes everything that we dream of, we have to learn to understand that everybody has things that don't work out. And you're supposed to try and focus a lot of your energy on, well, what is working out and what do I want to make happen instead? And that's the lesson that this particular person needed to hear. But what will happen is a 5 or 10 minute period of vague awkwardness, because there is a lot of water under this bridge. There is a lot of water under this bridge. And then you get on a house on fire is one of the old sayings that used to meaning everything's going real quickly. You get it into a flow again. And that is going to be the case with this person, is that you'll always find a way to get back into your flow, but that everybody involved's a lot healthier. Back and forth, which is fair and balanced. Discovery, oh my God, is it really going to be that much of an echo? Fear, and then kindred partnership. All right, the fragmented energy would have been next. The fear energy is honest to goodness, what I really genuinely have on this is that you've pulled back far enough from them that they began to understand that it was not a given that you would always be there for them. That it was honest, you've taught them something important about that people will have standards for their treatment. And that if you don't meet those standards, that person can really, really, really just withdraw from your life. And then again, they had somebody who they either wanted to impress or was important to them, just flat out call them out, because they did have somebody making them face the truth. So there's been a lot of repairs behind this scene, is almost how I want to put it. There's been time and distance with this person, but they're always going to be in their life. They're always going to be in your life. And if they have made you feel unloved at different points, they honest to goodness had to examine why they treated somebody who was always on their side as if they were the ones doing you a favor instead of the other way around. They also met somebody who had a very, very serious, oh my God, that happened to you. And they had to take a look at, like I said, they had to view themselves as being a little bit whiny. Surrender. You're being asked to let go of your need to control each part of your life and surrender to the universe. Control is an illusion, and it's exhausting to try and hold on to it. Let it go and allow yourself to enjoy the relief that comes from doing so. So, honest to goodness, I guess if you're going to take one thing away from this reading, is that the good parts of the relationship remain and the toxic parts have been stripped away through a period of healing, self-examination and introspection for this person. And then worth, because they do see your worth now. You're being asked to honor your worth. It can't be so easy to feel that we aren't good enough or worthy of happiness. This simply isn't the case. However, you are worthy and you have inherent value. It's time to cherish yourself and see your true worth. That's I guess the thing I'm going to close out on this. This person sees your worth now. This person sees your worth now, and they know they can't undo anything. There's something else I want you to know is that they understand that they took advantage of you a lot. They understand that part. And they're trying really hard to be, oddly enough, more like you. A little bit more like you. They stopped defining you by the things that they think you get wrong and started to see you as somebody who's like kind of a really admirable human being. So what will happen when they see you again is like they're always a little bit nervous. They're always a little bit nervous because they had to look at something in themselves and like abandon a victim mentality when it came to you. Okay, so it was a very interesting one. This moment, not really sure what the nature of the relationship was. It feels like more familial than it does anything, but like family and friends can be very interchangeable. Feel the power and blood of your ancestors is, remember, your ancestors participated in helping them as well. That person's never been, if you thought they were going to get stuck in a period, or if you at any point believe them to be a narcissist, maybe they were when they were in that victim mentality thing where they were refusing to see another person's point of view. But it was just a stage for them. It was just a stage. Okay, that was pile number 2. That's what will happen when you see them again. Take care. Be well. If you want to book me for a private reading, at therisingmoon.com. Link to my website in the description box down below. Logical Magic is my podcast. And then I also have Patreon, Monday through Friday. It has spiritual guidance about healing and different messages, and sometimes it's predictive. Please check it out. Take care. Be well. Welcome back. Hey, if you picked pile number 3, this is your reading. We'll put number 3 over there so that people can easily fast forward to their reading. There's always timestamps in the description box down below. Beach Time Soul is this has been rebranded a lot. It's also called the Island Wellness Cards. It's also called the Love Oracle, I believe. I like it a lot. We're going to get a card from it to help us understand the nature of the relationship, because the intention I set on this is it could be anybody. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be like somebody that you've had a relationship with or are still in a relationship with. Let's keep going here. What's going to happen when pile number 3 next sees the person they're asking about? Hey guys, before I get started, please don't forget to do things like subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. If you hit the post bell notification, you'll know every time I post a video. I have a podcast called Logical Magic Examining Esoterica. And if you want to book me for a private reading, there's a link to my website in the description box down below. Interesting. 3 of Cups in reverse can be a third-party situation in relationship readings. It can be a card of isolation. With the 2 of Wands in the upright, which is making plans and commitments, it's a crossroads energy. It is also, this is also one of those, the world is your oysters thing, like everything is available to you. I have the 3 of Pentacles in the upright. Interesting. Could be a work situation because that's the co-creation card. That's the working in harmony with others card. Oh, interesting. Okay. Temperance card in reverse. We're going to take the other ones here. Okay. 8 of Wands in reverse. Okay, so the Temperance card in reverse is the need to heal something. It's like a connection that like this person wants to do the work on it to try and heal it. I'm not positive you're open to it because I have this 8 of Wands in reverse in the underlying issues area, which is like a blocked energy. It can be somebody who views you as a friend, or it could be somebody that you had a relationship with. With that 3 of Cups in reverse and the Ace of Cups in reverse, yep, there's bad blood here. There's like you parted on not great terms. The other person does not want to let everything rest, potentially in the same way that you do. They spend a little bit more time thinking about this than you do, actually, the Magician in the upright. With the 5 of Pentacles in the upright as well. Honest to goodness, this is one of the cards of illness. This is one of the cards of illness. There's someone in your life who, like, I feel like the way you parted, like, I don't like it. Like, that person did not act properly. There may have been, like, words said on both sides. Because I think you have them, like, either blocked or like you've set this down and you're like, we are Dunville. You're not quite, and this person is like, they're trying to like be like, hey, listen, I haven't been well. I've really been struggling. They kind of, like I said, they almost want to plead their case here. They almost want to be able to talk to you about it. They find it very frustrating that they can't talk to you, because they view you as somebody who's like got like a real command over your own power and potentially other people with that Magician's card. But the Five of Pentacles in the upright is a rejection card as well. So let's see what we've got from the Island Wellness cards. It's like, it's almost like if they come towards you, like it's like you're going to rebuff them, because you might not think that they're worth the hassle, is the phrase that just came through. Honest to goodness, this one could go either way on whether or not it's a romantic relationship because of that Three of Cups in reverse. It could be somebody that had a relationship with you and it turned out to be a third party situation. And that like they did not. If it's that scenario, because I have two scenarios here, it's been dropped for a while for you. It's been dropped for a while for you. And like they said things they shouldn't have. They said things they shouldn't have. Spoiler alert, it kind of feels like maybe you did too, but like that there's blood here. Palm trees, stability, security, permanence, growth, endurance, and flexibility. That's a security card. It is a security card. It's the weirdest thing. I do not get the sense that even though I have the Three of Pentacles, that this is any sort of work thing. Okay. Whoever this person was, they did like is in your life. They liked picking your brain on things. They liked picking your brain on things. Were they using you? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Photograph, looking at your photos, missing you, nostalgia, make new memories. They do miss you. I'm not sure it goes both ways. I'm just not sure it goes both ways. It might have at one point. It might have at one point. But you keep trucking along is my feeling on this. And like the intention I set was like what will happen when you see them again. I did not actually set the intention that like, you know, is it possible for relationships that have come to a close to show up here. I think that you have achieved closure and that this other person like hasn't. The Dragon, strength and wisdom. The wisdom card is really, like I said, they like picking your brain on something. They like picking your brain on something. You might have been somebody who gave them a lot of advice. This is like, I'm getting like pretty negative forces on this one in terms of how you feel. Like you're fed up with it. You're done with it. You're moving on.com. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fate has blocked this path for you. Water emotions are at their peak. I don't think that you're super receptive to it, but will they try? Will they try? Let's go ahead and check this, because I think they do. I think they do. I think they do, and like I need you to hear something on this. My sense is that like they try to make you feel responsible for something that they did. Like this person, like I just kind of want to say that they're not great with accountability sometimes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If this was a romantic relationship, the palm tree thing, they chose security. They chose to remain in a primary relationship. If this is the other scenario that's coming through where it's like it was a relationship where I almost feel like the person had feelings for you that you didn't quite return. That like they felt about you differently because there's this like emotional, the Ace of Cups in reverse energy here where you let it go more easily. You just let it go more easily. this person took their feelings out on you. They took their feelings out on you. Whenever they were really upset, like, because, like, I think they valued your, like, your advice, your counsel, the Justice card. They did, and they valued your perspective on things. You're just, the Judgment card in reverse can be poor judgment, but it's more likely to be about a new karmic cycle beginning. Like I said, you are fine with, like, it not continuing. Like, if I think you have them blocked, not the other way around. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to keep going on this to try and solve the mystery. Here we go. What is going to happen with this relationship, I guess? My sense is that they like figure out a way to propose meeting up with you, and like you're not super open to it. And by not super open to it, it's like you're like, oh my God, you're still there. You've moved on. You've moved on. Rise above the dark days of life. I would say that you have done that with live playfully and with a light heart. Hey, listen, I need you to hear something about what I'm picking up from these cards, which is this person has an emotional, here we go, has an emotional regulation issue where they take their feelings out on other people. And they like you a lot. Like, they like you a lot. If this was a romantic relationship, I almost want to say this person's got a level of self-involvement that it's like the way they fall in love is different. But they have more feeling for you, and it does feel like they thought they were in love with you. They thought they were in love with you. Were they really? I have this weird energy of part of the reason they just kept practicing poor judgment and like they weren't fair to you. And it's almost like they used you like an emotional dumping ground or an emotional punching bag. And you finally just, you were fed up. Great gratitude, new supportive connections that sooner or later I'll have to walk across the room, get the rest of the deck because it went flying. Deserving, and we'll take these last two. Yeah, professional assistant victim mentality. I'm going to bring all of these over here because I glanced over to see what they were. Deception, hidden motivations, happy success, letting go, and great achievement. So that was a ton, but there's this theme on it where you've let go. Whenever they get in touch with you, like, I'm not say this person's an energy vampire necessarily. I'm not, but I'm not gonna rule it out entirely either. Their motivations, like, they have feelings for you that they don't discuss. I almost want to say, they're a little bit prone to using other people. I genuinely think you've got them blocked, not the other way around. And what will happen again? Are you ever going to see them again? It's interesting to me. For me, the resolution on this is a rejection card, a blocked card, like an impatience, anger. Like they take their feelings out on you. They take their feelings out on you, and like you appear to be done. And it appears to me that if you do see them again, that is what happens. Is you tell them, I'm done. I'm done. Like, you don't get to kick me around. I'm not your personal football. Sorry you've been sad, but it was never my fault in the first place. And I don't exist to make you feel better. And like, that's what I've gotten around that self-involvement feeling. Is that they miss you. They brood. They mull this over and over and over again. And I think it would come as a shock to them to realize that I think you're watching this and going, oh my God, they're still thinking about that? Like it feels like you have just really left it behind. It just really feels like you made a firm decision. I think this ended with you blocking them. With you just being like, oh, that's enough. Oh, look, there's enough. Enough is enough. Block, block. And that when you did it, you were so like, I cannot believe how long I've put up with this nonsense. And you just kind of kept going. Has that person new? They apparently obsessed quite a bit over it with that photograph looking at you. I really, 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 really get the sense that they thought they were in love with you. And why do I keep saying thought rather than were? It was so emotionally self-involved on their part. Pheasant, adapt to place and circumstances to discover happiness and contentment. With swan, a tranquil spirit comes with accepting inner dichotomy. And I'm going to take this one, seize the moment in life and love or lose it forever. Western bluebird, lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return. So you appear to be like just, yay, I'm fine. And they appear to like be very much caught in a cycle where okay. At first, they were 100% sure that you were going to get back in touch with them quickly and just be like, hey, I'm sorry. They were used to you taking something from them. And I mean taking like their form of treatment. You might have struggles with impatience in your life, but you can be too patient with other people's stuff sometimes. Like you take too much stuff from other people sometimes. And this person had become very used to you taking their stuff. And I think they tried to serve you up a great big heaping platter of it. Like, here's my crap and you're responsible for it. And it just reached a tipping point or something. Because I think you're the person, the Eight of Wands in reverse is being blocked. And then blocked. With water and emotions are at their peak. My gut sense is that this person, the last time that you encountered them, really tried to beat you up emotionally. And I'm not saying they were an emotional abuser, but they were very used to taking their feelings out on you. And you just stopped it. So what will happen when you see them again is you're going to be a little bit reinforced on that. Because will they try? They're going to try enough that you're aware of them. They're going to try and please be a little bit aware that there's something here that's like bugging me. Which is that it's like they're going to try and, almost be pitiful in order to get you to talk to them. And how does it come to you? I'm not positive. My sense is that even though you've got them blocked, that they find a way. They find a way. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You. They might try and come to you through your work is what just caused that no from me, is that they might try and come to you through your work somehow because it's the only way that they can figure out that it's they have to talk to me. They have to talk to me if it has to do with work. Stalker. Karmic shame. Love, blessings. Yeah, succubus, incubus, many regret mistreating you. Yeah. So what is succubus, incubus really? Now, it can be like a sexual attachment. It can. This person did, if you weren't aware of this, depending on what the nature of this particular connection was, they thought they were very, very, very in love with you. But like I said, for whatever reason, the way that they approach relationships is, maybe it's just what they were raised around and they just kind of never questioned it. But they take their feelings out on people. And it ended with you being tired of it. They still very attached to you. The stalker thing where it's they're watching, they're trying, the photograph looking at you, trying to find the way in. They will figure it out sooner or later. Partially because the only reason I just laughed was oh, really? It kind of feels to me like they want one more shot at trying to make you feel guilty. They're not out of their victimhood entirely on this. But that you were very handy to have around because you helped them have a different perspective sometimes. And depending on this vague echo, because remember, general readings, we're going to have multiple concurrent parallel situations going at first. you are like their mood elevator. They have an emotional regulation issue, and you would make them feel better. And they kind of lack, I think, enough ability to see themselves clearly to understand that it's like, well, how often did it go both ways? That there was the reciprocity, because the temperance in reverse can very much be a relationship that is out of balance as well. You do have some kind of contact coming up with them. It really might be through your work, because that was like really what elicited the oh no from me. Like it's like, since it looks like they're willing to force the issue, like not in a creepy, they're gonna like, capture you kind of way, but rather that they're simply not above like figuring out a way to insist that you hear them out. And it's not going to change anything, is my feeling on what the cards is, no matter which scenario we're talking about. Because I definitely had, like, there was somebody who thought they were in love with you, but they didn't treat you properly, and they chose themselves, and they chose security in that particular thing. Like, they chose to string you along for way too long. I do not know how to put this other than very, very directly. That particular pile, that person emotionally used you. They emotionally used you, and you know it. But are you completely done? Even though you've got them blocked, even though you appear to have like removed on, they are going to try and figure out a way to get coming towards you in some capacity, because they don't like that you had the last word is part of it. They do not like that you had the last word. They don't like the quality of their life as much without you in it. And because you had almost taken on the role of one of their coping tools, they have felt very lost without you. They feel very lost without you. But cautionary tale around that one, I had zero indication that they have made meaningful change. But that they do, like they stalk you a little bit. Like on social media, they watch your stuff. They're there. We got the stalker card, we got the photograph card. This person is, and is it terrible? No, I did not have the cards that would have alarmed me within the tarot. But that they're trying, and they do want to have a continued relationship with you. They will continue to try, and then what will happen is apparently like you either have to double down on like blocking them or telling them this can't go on any longer, because everything resolved with the Five of Pentacles. I have the feeling, if this is your pile, you're hearing that, and mostly your reaction is like, yeah, no, I'm kind of fine with saying exactly that. Because I was kind of upset the first time I did it, and I'd be very clear about like why you did not treat me right. You do not deserve to have my love and support. And that seems to apply to every single one of the scenarios that was present there. It's a weird one because that person thought they were in love with you. I had conflicting signals on whether or not you felt you were in love with them, which is part of the reason that I was like, hey, there's more than one scenario there. In some instances, you really, really loved them. Like you really loved them, and it came as a bitter shock each time they kind of showed their butt that way. Okay. All right. So pile number 3, interesting message. Be a little like, you'll feel good. You'll feel victorious around it. Like you kind of get to send them packing in a like, hey, listen, I didn't tell you what I really thought last time kind of way. And it's not vicious, but it's like the only thing that might help this person like take a better look at themselves, because like they're used to emotionally using you, and they want to again. What, no matter, like they're not coming towards you to be like, I have realized my mistakes, I want to offer an apology. They're just more like, this can't be it, and I do want to talk to you. Okay. All right, so file number 3, that was your reading. It's an interesting one. If you want to book me for a private reading, that is at therisingmoon.com, linked in the description box down below. The only way to book me. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the reading, please hit the thumbs up button. I have a podcast called Logical Magic Examining Esoterica that has all kinds of fun healing modalities and guests, and we talk about topics of how to reach your highest self and your greatest potential. Take care. Be well. Welcome back. Hey, if you chose pile number 4, this is your reading. We're going to put the number 4 over there so people can easily fast forward to their reading. The Beach Time Soul, it's also called the Island Wellness card. I think it's also called the Love Oracle card. This has been reprinted and rebranded multiple times. It's a good oracle deck. They have just really struggled with the name. We have the the Universal Celtic deck bringing us our predictive cards. Let's get going. What is going to happen when pile number 4 next sees the person that they are asking about? As before I get started, please don't forget to do things like subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button because it helps my channel and allows me to keep doing these type of readings. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. Okay, so what was that about? I did not set an intention for the type of relationship because I'm not primarily a relationship reader. I'm a personal growth and empowerment reader. But this one is a romantic relationship that went south. Because the Two of Cups in reverse with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, things came to a screeching halt. With the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And then I have the Justice card in reverse. I have the Chariot in the upright. I have the Six of Swords in the upright. We're going to talk about what they mean soon. The Star in reverse. I have the Judgment card in reverse. Four Swords in the upright. And then I have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Fascinating. Okay, as tempted as I am to peek on this one, on like what would be the next one, let's go with reading what's here and we're going to get some clarifying oracle cards. This is a past romantic relationship, and none of the other piles have been that definitive on it. Remember, in general readings, multiple scenarios can be a bag. Two Cups, I don't know how far in the past this is, but man, did it ever just, it hit a wall. It just hit a wall on that. The Page of Pentacles in reverse can be a failure to learn a lesson. You may have tried multiple times with this person. You may have hung in there longer than was good for pretty much either of you. It was not a balanced relationship with that Justice card in reverse. And like the only thing that ever draws you towards re-examining this connection is that like it hurt your heart chakra enough that like you had to heal. I'm not getting the heartbreak card on this one, but it's like I don't think this one was an easy thing in its parting. Are you going to see them again? You're going to see them again. You're going to see them again within this lifetime. The way they behave is like you're going to be like if they say that they have changed, they have not changed. Failure to learn a lesson, something out of reach. They may have something biochemical going on. They may have something that just makes like meaningful emotional change, something that is almost impossible for them to achieve. I do not think that the only reason, like you've got to, like you've got some curiosity around. It's like, well, what are they doing now? What are they like? Can you tell me anything about this relationship, please? Mostly what happens is that you see them in the light of who you are now rather than who you were when you were engaged in this, like, I almost want to say like push and pull type of thing. Ascending, transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, new phase, preparing for you are going to see them. Seduction, attraction, flirting, dating, hooking up, temptation, third-party interference, and then mirror. Mirroring each other, self-image, relationships reflect our wounds and introspection. Could be a twin flame and separation type of thing. I really don't do twin flame readings. Most of them really are karmic lessons. I used to, but like over the course of time, sort of noticed that like all twin flame connections were about like what people were trying to heal. It's not going to be true for all of them. Nothing can be true for everything. So if you hear something that is like, that doesn't fit with my experience, it just means that this may not be the message for you. But the mirroring each other's self-image, relationships reflects our wounds. You had some type of relationship that like feelings ran high with that like seduction card, because that is one of the meanings of it. my gut sense is that like there was third party action within this relationship, and I think it was on the part of the person who's coming back, but it could go either way on this, and that it was like one of those situations where this was not a healthy energy for you, but you're healthy now. And this person focuses on you to this day. Simply because like they try to heal and to grow and to learn lessons. But this is one of the few times I really see this as something beyond the reach of somebody. And they're not, this does not have a twin flame energy on you, even if there's a marrying thing where like there's a connection still of some sort. They're not made from the same energy as you. Because you did a bunch of work to heal. You did a bunch of work to heal. You may already be in another relationship. The love of your dragon reaches out to you. The realm of your truth is opening up. I feel like you looked within, awaken all your senses, slow down and become aware of them. You did the work. This person thinks they did work. Like this person thinks they did work. At the heart of it, they have some kind of issue that means that it will never truly grow roots. It will never actually take hold entirely. And like, it's not, I think you're going to want to call them on some things that they're doing when you see them. And then ultimately, you're going to conclude it's not worth the effort or the drain on your energy to even go into it. Because it's not a terrible energy any longer, but like this thing just took up so much of your energy at points. Everything between you was some kind of battle. It was either like somebody like not choosing to engage because everything was a battle, or every time you engaged, it was some kind of battle of wills. It was a space that you were in as well, but you've done all this work. And like I said, they think they have. But they're dealing with something that it's their basic nature. And the reason I'm saying I don't think this can really be a twin flame type of deal is that like at the heart of it, people who are involved in a true twin flame connection, which most of them don't end up together because it's about highlighting what we need to heal. And the only way for people to be in the phase of union, the ascending thing, is for everybody to heal their stuff. And I get the sense that this person can learn about things, but they have enough emotional damage within that it's theoretical for them. And so it's something that it has a practical application in their knowledge base, but it can't truly touch their emotional world. And they throw tantrums. They throw tantrums as a full-grown person to get their way. And that, like, even though they have tried to have awareness of it, the bottom line here is that, like, push comes to shove, this person will throw a tantrum again. Justice in reverse. They're still out of balance. We have give. One of the best feelings we can experience is giving to others. When we do so, we feel lifted up and our lives improve greatly because of someone else's happiness. Think of one way you can give to another today. And then manifest. You're always manifesting whether you're aware of it or not. Manifestation is based on your thoughts, and you're being asked to manifest consciously through positive thinking, so you'll attract into your life exactly what you're wanting. So the, like, they're not worth the effort energy. I have this weird feeling from some of these cards that are coming out is that when you see them, the not worth the effort thing is like, you kind of get that they can't change. They can't change because it's almost like they're missing a piece. Because that is the another meaning of the Page of Pentacles in reverse. It's like the dropped ball, the missing piece. You do see them again. I think that they want to they want to like put the bad blood behind you. They want to mend a fence is the real feeling that I get. Let's go with the angel answers. The problem is that if you mend a fence with this person and you put a gate into it and you allow them back into their world, you're going to run into the problem that fundamentally they cannot change. And it's not really a fault of their own. They appear to have an actual personality disorder. And like, are people doomed by personality disorder? No, they're not. It just kind of depends on which one. And this might be a narcissist. People with narcissistic personality disorder can become self-reflective, which is one of the meanings of the mirror. They can. It's just that they cannot achieve the fundamental emotional change that everybody can be damaged by an experience and learn the wrong techniques and learn the wrong lessons and engage in the wrong behaviors. And we can learn to do better by understanding ourselves better and our emotions. And this person's ability to understand their emotions runs into the basic missing piece in their wiring. Does it make them terrible? It can at points. It can. They want to, because they know it will gather more approval from others, they want to be seen as a good person. They want to be seen as a good person. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They would like you to see them in a different light again. And it's the weirdest thing, but when I got they're not worth the effort, it feels to me like when you do see them, and you do see them, and it is like a face-to-face thing. When you do see them, you kind of just let it go entirely. That's just what it feels like. Big happy changes, okay? Yes, and then we want one more on this. No, not the right time. All right. Big happy changes, yes, but no. Any changes that they've claimed they've made, no. And that you're not open to a continuing relationship with them, but that, like, you kind of, it looks to me like you're simply ready to let them go with a, may your path be paved. Like, I know that I'm not like really leaning on that you're gonna wish them well. It's not that. It looks to me like you see them with such clarity that you kind of understand that it's like, it's not just choice for you. This is about being pulled in 2 different directions. It's not just choice for this person. It is their fundamental construction that makes them who they are. And that it's weird because they're not completely devoid of decency. They're not. They want to aspire to be better than the person that they have been often, but that they are always going to run into this problem within them, and that they're not worth the effort of like explaining stuff to them, explaining all of that to them, explaining the difference between. You're not going to do a lot of heavy lifting on this one. You're not going to do a heavy lifting on this one. It honestly goodness could be something as simple as bumping into them in a grocery store. Honest to goodness. It does not, because I don't have planning on this one, but the scenario that just bumped into my head is that, like, you bump into them in a public place, and they want to do something. Like, do you have time for coffee? Could we get together for something? And if you go for it and you listen to them, like, you really honest to goodness, you just see them from such a distance now. And instead of having a lot of anger towards them, you have more compassion towards the idea of what a tremendously limited range of emotional possibility that they are dealing with. And you let them go with clarity. You let them go with clarity. And if you don't agree to go off and do whatever it is, because they're going to be happy to see you. They're going to be happy to see you. in a way that, like, by the time they see you, it does appear to be out in the world. By the time they see you, they have hope that, like, there's been enough time and distance that, like, you know, the past is sealed off, and that they're hoping that a different type of connection can be available. And my gut sense is on this that you are not of the, like, hey, I would rather set myself on fire than to hang out with you. But that you see them with this clarity around, again, that it's like, wow, I've blamed you for so long for all the choices that you make. And now I understand that if, like, I have 20 choices in how I react to something, you're working with 4. That something damaged this person's emotional response system, that, like, their emotions stay in the primary colors area. They're really bad, or they're, like, really, really sad, or they have something going on within them, a personality disorder that makes it almost impossible for them to hold more concurrent emotions, having more than one thing be true. Being able to feel, like, sadness and anger at the same time, which is, like, one of the things with grief. That most emotions are layered, and that this person does not really have a layering system, because emotions are a land that they're always like, how do I get that part? I need a decoder ring. And that's kind of how you see them. We have stay true to your heart's desire and keep nature in your heart and home. You learned a lot about what not to take from people from this person. Whatever else went on in this relationship, you learned a lot about yourself, and you grew a lot, and eventually it made you very, very strong indeed. Even if, like, the effort of trying to get this person to have an emotional investment that they apparently aren't capable of having, really took it out of you. In this particular card set, you're the person that is the learning expansion new phase. But you will, like, see them again. Like I said, it's a weird thing. I really do think you just bump into them. Yeah. Relationship reflect our wounds. The wounds that it is reflecting for you is you put in a lot of effort with this person. And when you do see them again, you see them, like, with 20/20 vision in a way that you're like, oh, it was never going to be possible. God, I see you so clearly now. I think you used to always assume that you were the person in the wrong because you were taught that you were always the person in the wrong. And that, like, it really occurs to you that you had so much time in with this person in which they were kind of clearly the person who wasn't making any effort, and you were making a ton of effort, and that you accommodated them a lot. They really want you back in their life. They really want you back in their life, and, like, so they're going to be very happy to see you. Now, will they come skipping over to you? No, but you'll see them all lit up. Like, they're going to be very happy to see you. Like, they're going to feel like fate has finally provided an opportunity. And you're going to be more of the, I can't believe I ever thought I loved you. What was going on with me that, like, I was willing to try so hard for somebody that I can see you just don't have that in your toolkit. And it will make you understand that you're like, I have grown so much. So it's good for you. There's clarity on this. And it almost gives you a form of forgiveness. Not for everything they ever did or everything that ever passed between you, but, like, yeah, there's this letting go, this drop in your guard energy, this thing's being put to rest energy with the 4 of Swords in the upright. Let's go with one more. What do we got? Southern Passery, spread the seeds of love and creativity and see them blossom. Do you see this person with love? You see this person with the sort of universal love that we extend to all others, understanding that every single person has their struggles. And since you no longer have a personal that's what it is. You no longer have a personal investment in this person, and you're going to find out that it allows you to see them with a more open heart space. That, like, you kind of get that it's like, oh no, because you will always revert back to type. You will always revert back to type. Because they can't help it. Because they can't help it. But you see the type. You see the type now. You see the type now. Mostly it looks like you have a profound feeling of gratitude for the fact that, like, you can feel in this technicolor world, and that this person lives in their black and white world for emotions. It's not a bad feeling. We have love just fell out, true love and fidelity. What else we got? We're working with the Endurer Fortune cards. We've got 2 cards of love. And let's get one more on this. Unseen forces watch over you, Satyr, reverie, and indulgence, and then Earth. Utilize reason, logic, and common sense. That is a really, they may not have learned their lesson, but you learned a lot. Energy. And the reason I'm laughing is, like, again, like, as it's trying to leave my mouth, there's a part of me going, they're just not going to want to hear that part because it sounds so outlandish to them. But the truth of the matter is that you will see them with a more compassionate and loving eye, simply because you're no longer defined by, like, how much they hurt you. Because their callousness, which is how it comes off, it's how that comes off. That like inability that they possess, it comes off as being very callous. Their callousness hurt your very empathetic nature so deeply, because here's the, like, let's leave it on this one. You used to ask yourself, why don't they care about my feelings? And when you see them again, you're going to be so struck by they're not capable of it, are they? Of it all. That you will see them with a great clarity that allows you to simply let it go in a peaceful way, which you might have let it go because, like, no resolution's ever coming on it. I'll wait until the end of time for them to apologize. They will actually apologize, by the way. They'll try to apologize. I think that's the part that, like, makes it click for you. Is the way they deliver the apology, like, indicates that it's like, you genuinely have no clue, do you? You don't, that part of you never got developed. That part of you never got developed. And honest to goodness, I think you kind of see their personality disorder, and it might be narcissistic personality disorder. One of the ones that's just really difficult to overcome in interpersonal relationships. That their personality disorder reflects a damage so deep that everything they learn about other people's feelings will be academic, and that they might try really hard with other people going forward, but they get upset, and then the lack of real emotional resonance for the people around them becomes apparent. Like, they kick themselves a lot more than they used to about how they act, because, like, they're trying to, it's not, pretend is too damning of a word. They genuinely are trying to inhabit the energy of a good person as they understand it. But they're missing pieces. And they're still, I don't know how else to put this, but their emotional world is developmentally delayed. It's an emotional developmental issue where they're just kind of like, they have the emotions of a 5-year-old and the vocabulary of, like, a 40-year-old professor. Okay? And you see them and you just have a little bit more compassion for it than you used to, since it's no longer your problem. So what happens when you see them again is you're freed. Okay? Now, as you're reading pile number 4, in a way that, like, I don't think you ever thought you were going to be. There's your reading pile number 4. If you want to book me for a private reading, at therisingmoon.com is the only way to do so. I have a podcast, Logical Magic, Examining Esoterica, and I have a Patreon that will be linked in my description box down below as well, with daily, Monday through Friday, spiritual guidance, advice, and some predictive tarot as well. Take care.